A lot of good days begin with an empty trailer, and this is going to be one of them. I'm on my way to check out 7 cars that have been rescued from a junkyard, and I'm going to get to pick 3 to take home. Let me hit the road, and I'll tell you all about it. Before I get into the story about these junkyard cars, let me remind you that you could win my 2023 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack that I custom ordered brand new as my personal car. 2.5 years, it's only got about 7,000 miles on it. I figure it might be time for you to own it. So I got a sweepstakes going. The link is in my description, shop.davidfreiburger.com. You can go there and see all the rules and find out your eligibility. And you could also perhaps win a signed Hot Wheels with General Mayhem or signed apparel. So check it out before June 27th, 2025. Here's the backgrounder on this whole deal. I got an email from a viewer, and he told me the story that he had gotten into cars, specifically into junky old cars, by watching Roadkill, my former TV show. And then somehow he got involved in a junkyard. I'm not sure if he was working there, volunteering, hanging out, whatever, but he started getting attached to the old cars that were coming in, and he couldn't bear to see them crushed. And so he started buying them for scrap value, and he loaded up a warehouse full of them. And now he's at the point where he's getting retired, and he doesn't want to keep the warehouse, and he needs to get rid of all this stuff. And he said, I've got 8 cars here. Come have a look, and I will make you a deal you cannot refuse. And you know that I can't refuse a deal like that. And I saw the pictures of these cars, so I know that there's 4 that I'm interested in. Others, probably not, but we'll see. And so it's not just me on the road. I've got the trailer here on the back of the Dodge, but I've also got Mason. We have rented a 2-car trailer, and he's headed up there with his dually. And so when we get there, we'll see what's what. We'll see what we're gonna come home with. Ooh, that's a pretty good Scout right there. Okay, I'm on my way to Sacramento, California, and for me, that would normally be 5.5 hours, but with the trailer and everything and running into Mason and stuff, it's gonna take 7. So let's go. I just stopped to pay $5.43 a gallon for gasoline, and I heard from Mason. Now you'll recall Mason's dually is the one that had the fuel tank fall out of it when we were out getting that barn find Super Bee. Well, this time he's stopped at Stockton, California to change his shocks.
All right, so we are on the way to Sacramento today. I am in the Ram 3500. This is a 2006. It's a Cummins 2-wheel drive dually, and I'm pretty sure that these shocks are original. Now, the truck has 189-ish thousand miles, and so it's long overdue on a shock replacement, and as you can see by how much the camera's shaking, it needs one pretty good. This is definitely the smoothest section of road that I've been on, and, well, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna go stop in Stockton, wait for David to catch up to me. He's like an hour and a half behind, and we're gonna throw some new shocks in, and hopefully that improves the ride a little bit. All right, so these are the parts we got. These are our front shocks. They're KYB Excel Gs, and the rears are gonna be KYB Gas Adjust. That's just what they had over at the AutoZone. First things first, I'm just gonna lay it on the tarp so I don't get disgusting this early in the day. And then I'll go ahead and work on doing the rears first, because those are the easy. And then I'll move to the fronts, which are gonna be a bit more difficult to get to at the very least. So, all right, we're under the truck. This is the driver's side. Lower shock mount here. Upper shock mount all the way up behind the spare tire. So I'm gonna try to do this out removing the spare tire. And then on the front, or on the passenger side, it goes forwards and it's above the exhaust. So I'm gonna do that one second, so the exhaust has a chance to cool off. So it should be pretty simple. Just break the 2 nuts loose and pop the bolts out and keep going. Cool, so both rear shocks are replaced. The old ones are like putty. So this should make a big difference, and I'm super excited. We still have about an hour drive from here to get to Sacramento, and I'll get to test it out there.
That's Mason back there now. I left at 7:30 a.m. It is now 5 p.m. and just rolling up on Steven's place to finally see these cars. I got Mason behind me. He's got the 2-car trailer. He did change his shocks at the side of the road. Got to find out if that's better. Probably is. We've arrived. Ooh, I already see good stuff. Okay, the adventure begins. Well, we made it, and it's actually worth it. This is going to be a great tour of stuff. It turns out that Steven was the IT guy for I Pull, You Pull, a junkyard, and that's how he ended up having access to all this stuff. And it's a lot of stuff. Let me show it to you. First of all, there's a whole bunch, let's see, 3 66 to 60 early Chevy pickups, C20s, and a C10. Those I'm probably not as interested in, but there's a bunch of cars that are really cool. Let's start out looking at this 1961 Comet. Check it out. This is a 1961 Comet, and you'll notice I did not say Mercury Comet. Here's the fun fact that I love about the Comets. They came out in 1960, and when that was happening, the Edsel division was just coming to a close. It was actually shut down by a Ford guy, an executive named Robert McNamara, who later became Kennedy's Secretary of Defense. Well, he hated Edsel from the start. He said we should not start a new division because also, I'm sure you know, it is not a Ford Edsel. Edsel was a separate division. Just like Lincoln and Mercury, there was Ford and Edsel. They started in 58, they ended in 1960, and they had been developing a compact car. It was the Comet. When they killed Edsel, they kept the Comet, and unintuitively, it was a separate division. Comet was actually its own make. The door tag on this car says, "Made in USA by Comet." There's old dealer photos where it actually is a Comet dealership, and they only did that in 60 and 61, and in 1962 they became a Mercury. And the Comet name, I think interestingly, was used on compact cars and mid-size cars, and then compact cars again. They skipped the 1970 model year, and the Comet was then used as a version of the Ford Maverick Mercury Comet from 71 to 76. So that's more than you needed to know about Comets. However, I'll also tell you that they were only available with a 6-cylinder in the very beginning. They had the small one, I think a 144, then they went to the 170, then you could get a 260 V8 in them. But what I need to show you on this car is how the taillight actually has a part number that says E for Edsel. So this car is pretty good until you look at the other side. Unfortunately, it's all smashed up. See this emblem on the deck lid? See the C right there? Does it remind you of an Edsel E? Well, that's because it is an Edsel E, just minus the center bar that turns it into an E. And here at the start of that part number, you see the E for Edsel on the taillight lens. Here's the real sad part about the Comet. This side is all caved in, and you can see the wheel is all folded under. Here's the good news about that, though. You know, when they were developing the Comet, they were doing the Ford Falcon right alongside it. And as you probably know, the Falcon was the basis for the Mustang that would come out in 64 and a half. So if you think about it, this is basically a Mustang. Just as good, but you can get the parts to fix this thing, and he actually has a door to fix it, but it's gonna need a fender. I'm not sure I'm in for that. I wanna see if I can open the hood though. First of all, look at these sight glasses. So cool. Can I figure out how to get the hood open on a Comet? It is right there, but it's all smashed and rusted. Aha! That was the sound I was looking for. Let's not scrape anything. And there it is. This is the 1961 170 cubic inch thrift power. The thing I remember about these is I knew a girl in high school who had one that her dad had bought new, and you could make her cry by walking up to it and putting your hand over the snorkel, and it would kill the engine. That's my favorite story about the thrift power. Wow, Cutlass. Okay, Comet's pretty cool. Let's move on. Here's Steven's actual nice car. This one's not a gift. It's actually really cool. It's all murdered out black, but it's bone stock. I wanted to use it as an example to train you a little bit about Cutlasses. As you probably know, the Cutlass came out as that little subcompact car in 1961, and the name carried continuously all the way through 1988 with the G bodies. So it's another one that went from the compact to a mid-size. And this is, of course, on the same platform as a 66 or 67 Chevelle. This one is a 67, and the tell on that is that it's got the marker light, or the turn signal light, rather, in between the headlights. Now, let's go look at the Junkyard Cutlass, which is a 66, and different than that. Let's go. So this car, as you can see, this is a 66. And it does not have the turn signal in between the headlights. I like the 67 a little bit better. I think it's kind of cool how they're spread. They did that in 68 too, when they changed the body style to the rounder version. So this is a 66 Cutlass. It is a hard top, which means it's a holiday coupe. It would be a sport coupe if it had the pillar on it. And under the hood, we have the venerable Oldsmobile 330 cubic inch V8. That's what was available in the Cutlass this year, and they had either a 2-barrel or a 4-barrel low compression or a 4-barrel high compression. Why don't we just go ahead and discover how many barrels are on this baby? Look at the size of that air cleaner. GM knew what they were doing back then. Factory air conditioning car here. Smog pump still on it with the belt on. You never see that. Here we go. Will we see 2 or will we see 4? It has got an Edelbrock carburetor on it on a factory 4-barrel intake. So this is a 4-barrel 330. I'm gonna guess low compression. All right, the story on this car is unique. Apparently it belonged to a pastor and it got stolen from him and went to a homeless guy who lived in it, and then I'm guessing it broke down and he abandoned it on the freeway, and the CHP impounded it and declared it a biohazard. It says bio on the glass because all of his stuff was inside it, which is absolutely disgusting and disappointing because it's a factory bucket seat console car with blue interior. That was sweet. Did you see that? Thing just closed, nice. Let's look at the interior. Bio, makes you want to dive right in, doesn't it? Wow, pretty good. I mean, it's not good at all, but it's actually great. It smells super bad. Most of the personal belongings have been cleaned out of it. The interior is trashed. This is interesting. This car is actually pretty good, except for the right front fender. Look how nice the door closes. Except for the right front fender and bumper. This thing's almost showroom condition. Let's look at the truck. This one I'm super pumped about. This obviously is a 71 or 72 Chevy truck, but wrong. The VIN says it's actually a 69, and I think I can see here where perhaps the holes for the bow tie badge for a 69 were bonded over, maybe, and obviously it does have a 71 or 72 grill in it. It is a C10, not a C20. That's what makes this gold. It's actually in pretty good shape. It's not that rusty. It's got a little bit on the rocker where they all do. The story is this thing drove into the yard. Your standard story of old guy had it, died, kids wanted to get rid of it, so they brought it to the yard. What I want to know is, what does it look like under the hood? See, now my 69 has the hatch right there, and so does this one. Let's see. This, believe it or not, will be my second 69 long bed Chevy truck. If I can get the hood open, this is going to be a bit of a battle. Don't break the grill.
Push down on it.
Yeah, just be careful not to pry against the plastic grill.
There we go.
There. It took the power of the Mason. Here we go. Whoa, okay. V8, not an air conditioning truck. Has drum brakes, of course, because it's 69. First year of factory discs would have been 71. Wow, maybe it runs. Crazy, quadrajet. Points, all the right stuff. It has no power brakes, and it does have power steering, which is pretty cool. I can fix this. I am pumped up about this truck. Have a look at the interior. It's all apart, so you can see what the floors look like. Look at this thing. Virtually flawless. I mean, it's got rust over here. They all do. But all in here is fantastic. This thing is exactly like I like them. Power steering, no power brakes. Probably could use discs. It used to have a stick in it, as you can see by the clutch pedal. And that used to be a 3 on the tree. See that? And someone's put an automatic in it and put that shifter onto the floor. But it's got clutch pedals and a clean tank, a clean roof. The only thing is the speakers are, or the doors are cut for speakers, which is super, super common. But man, this is mint. And the last one, this one gives me unreasonable joy because I've never had my own van. Friends have had them. I've tried to push them. When I was the editor of Hot Rod, I tried to bring them back, even though you're probably aware that when muscle cars started to be on the downslide circa 1972, 3, 4, Hot Rod and all the other car magazines started covering vans because guys could buy them cheap and they could paint them and make them look wild and put meats on them and wings and all that stuff and not have to hop them up. Not worry about insurance, not worry about emissions. I remember when I was a staffer on Hot Rod, we would always refer to the van era as like the most evil, darkest times in the history of the automotive hobby. But now they're cool, right? And I've never had one. And what makes this one better is that it's a 1974, so it's smog exempt. It is a cargo panel van, no windows in it, and no one has cut windows into the side of it either. I don't dig that. Unfortunately, it does have a moonroof and a vent in the back that has leaked a lot of disgustingness into the interior. And if you look at this, it has a lot of mold, a lot of spiders, a lot of junk. It's been sitting for a long time, but it also has slot mags and fog lights and the original blue and yellow plates and probably a keep-on truck and license plate frame somewhere. The back bumper says Yamahaler. How great is that? Remember the ads in Hot Rod back in the day so that you could buy your Yamahaler and haul your Yamaha? There's just everything good about this. It's gonna be the first one we roll out of here. And we probably need to get after that pretty quickly. I'll let you see the interior though, because it's gross. Okay, wait, is it in neutral?
Yes.
All right, I'm touching the disgusting wheel. Okay, looking good. You know how long they used this body style? They made these things till 1996.
Wow.
Yep, the G-Van. And now in the daylight, you can see the glorious dual CB antennas. They're hanging up in the top of the doorway. They're so good. Tug it. Go ahead and pull it up. That's good. Yamahaler with tow hitch that looks almost legit. Gas tank leaks bad. It has a 12 bolt in it.
Does it really?
Yes. Yep, I believe it's a truck 12 bolt. It's a little bit different than a car. Look at the receiver cover. I'm glad I pulled that out. Now I won't lose it. You can see from underneath that the van's actually a V8. I haven't gotten the hood open. It could have been a 6-cylinder, but with the V8, it's gonna be a 350. I don't know if it's 2-barrel, 4-barrel, or what, but it means nothing can stop me from making it run and drive. That's what that means. I am so excited about the van. Okay. You know, I realized that I have had my own van before. It was a Dodge short bed panel van that I bought with Keith Turk at the Pomona Swap Meet back in 2008 when I was doing Car Junkie TV. And I remember the color. It was Tiger Lily Metallic. and I think it was a slant 6. It could have been a 318, but it was a 3 on the tree. No power steering, no power, nothing. And we lettered it up, Car Junkie TV. I think I put Krager's on it. That thing looked choice. The fate of that van was that I traded it for a roll cage in the original muscle truck. It actually had a full cage at one time. And I hated it so much that I sawzalled it right out. So I essentially just gave away my Dodge van, but we had paid 800 bucks for it. This one, a significantly better deal. And it is a Chevy instead of a Mopar. So it's kind of got more of the, I don't know, stoner van look, I guess. Surfer van look from the 70s. But they were both great. I can't wait to dig into this thing. But now we have to get it out of the way and load up the next one. We loaded the van, but then we took the trailer off of my Dodge with the van on it because we thought we were gonna load engines, but then we realized there's 3 engines to load and 2 more cars. And so we're gonna load the C10 and another car and then decide how to deal with the engines. Note to trailer manufacturers, if you have a hinge where you pull the ramps out, put the hinge at the top, because if it's at the bottom, every time you drag the trailer on something, it gacks the hinge. This one broke off and the whole ramp almost fell out on the freeway. Steer. Can you kick the bottom of the ramp towards the outside? Okay. Wow, that ramp almost popped up. How's it look? Be careful, it's gonna roll. Wow. Sketchy. All right, our challenge now is sort of figuring out how to get all of the vehicles on all of the trailers. The van's the shortest one, so we should probably have it behind the truck. We're now gonna try and load the 2 longest vehicles on one 2-car trailer. Not smart, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway because we're too lazy to unload the van again. Oh, by the way, I guess you figured it out. We're taking the Cutlass, not the Comet. Biohazard. Feels like we got it. Feels like Mason has it, actually. Biohazard car. Let's see. This car is more narrow than it looks. It cannot steer your way more. It's going to flip this ramp. Thank you.
Give that another shot.
Oh, this is gonna fit. It's gonna fit. And it's official. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. They both fit. This is a big trailer. Tell me when.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Okay, we're gonna grab a couple of engines. Sure.
Anywhere, right?
Okay. This one has a chain or something? It has a strap. Okay. Oh, that's it. And it won't go.
Is that as far as it goes?
Yep.
Well, can you tilt it enough?
That's what I'm wondering. Yep. Yep. There. Front wheels up. There. Got it.
Hey, easy.
Yeah. Let me get this. Okay, I wonder, wow, there's no way we can get it sideways, is there? It's only touching on the water pump. That's not great.
moving me.
Yeah.
I have no. Wait, what was the filter?
Well, I gotta say, I loaded up the best stuff that he had there. The C10 pickup is gold. The van is brilliant. The Cutlass, kind of okay, but I'm glad I got the thing anyway. We also picked up a 454 big block and a 350 small block. It's a pretty good take. I am gonna help Steven figure out how to get rid of those other trucks that I left behind. I think I can make those go away for him. But we're on our way home now, and I can't wait to get the stuff cleaned up. Hey, it's morning, and look, Thermoquad shirts are back. So you're gonna wanna pick one up before June 27th, 2025 to try and win my Challenger Scat Pack. The link's in the description. The van is right there. Nothing got stolen overnight. And we're gonna keep cannonballing home. But first, Mason, how are your new shocks?
Oh man, they're so much better. I'm not dying. My liver's still inside of me, hopefully in the right place. And it would be better with fronts, but for now, can't complain.
Let's go. Man, the van is still great. The Cutlass is okay. The truck is fantastic. By the way, we're in Manteca, California, and stopped right here at the Mangy Moose Cafe. 100% recommended by Freiburger. Great biscuits and gravy, great bacon. Place is actually flawless, so check it out. I'm gonna go mount a GoPro on Mason's truck, and we're gonna hit the road. What happened?
The wheel cut the strap. So maybe it was not a good idea to go through nice, sharp wheels. May have to rethink how we're strapping these vehicles down.
I'll inspect the other ones.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Haste and laziness. We were cruising along, and all of a sudden Mason speeds ahead of me and goes like this, takes the exit. Apparently, the truck's falling off the trailer. That one seems okay. All right, we're strapped down better, we're out of here. Well, when we were strapping down, we met a 91-year-old guy who came by and admired our stuff. So that was cool, but we're ready to go again. And we made it home. The first thing that we did at the shop was unload both the 454 and the 350 that we picked up. You know, I never even saw if these things rotated, but they have enough good parts on them that they were worth it. And I parked the van and the truck because I'm gonna make future episodes with those things. And right now, I'm gonna focus on the Cutlass, and I've got an idea to do some social good with this thing. That looks a whole lot better, but I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Freiburger, why would you pressure wash the engine before you try and make it run because you just made the ignition all wet? Well, the answer is because I don't care. Having it cleaner makes me happier, and I made sure not to spray the distributor, and I didn't put water down the carburetor. You'll notice if you get the top of the air cleaner wet, you don't let the water sit in there because it'll run down the hole. So it'll dry out enough by the time I get to fiddling with that. For some reason, I'm procrastinating trying to make it run because I don't have a key and I don't feel like hot wiring it, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. All right, now the Comet wash. you look at the back here, you can see we've scrubbed the left-hand side, not the right-hand side. So it's not making it flawless, but it's way better. I discovered something devastating in the process of washing the Oldsmobile, and that is Ajax was in fact better than Comet for cleaning up the really hardcore rust on this thing. I'd never tried the Ajax before. It must be more aggressive. Wow. Because the other thing we figured out is that the blue scrubby sponge was nowhere near as good as the more aggressive green scrubby sponge. That is going to demand a future test on the David Freiburger channel. I think I'm going to buy myself some Bonamine, some Barkeeper's Friend, and any other kind of powdered cleanser. Anyway, we've got this washed up. I think I'm now going to vacuum the interior, which is in fact a biohazard. This part I admit I am not looking forward to. You will recall that this thing was a biohazard. It literally said that on the glass from the junkyard. The guy who stole it, or someone after it was stolen, was living in the thing. And it doesn't smell like there was too much bathroom use in here, but it's gross. And there's a lot of stuff. And the headliner is a cereal box and a Real Housewives book and other stuff like that. So next job is vacuum this all out while making as little physical contact as possible with things like this old container full of chili peppers and this warning. Lots of stuff like that in here. Yuck. What just happened?
Well, the seat fell down and we couldn't get the trunk open before, but now we can see what's in the trunk, and it's a spare tire and a ton of, what is that, power steering fluid? Oh no, engine oil. Tons and tons of engine oil and coolant. That makes the entire car worth it if those are full. Not bad. Whoa, it even has the trunk floor mat. Look at that. Mint. Oh, they're empty. That's cool. Quaker stands.
Stuff that was in the glove box. Disgusting non-safety razor. Flashlight. Made in USA. Huh, maybe that's a keeper. Ooh, little screwdriver. Electrical tape's not bad. Rubber football. Highway flare. Little tiny nut. And a bunch of receipts. Ooh, look what I found. 66 Olds Operator's Manual. That's gold. Insurance packet. Insurance. Newspaper. Newspaper. From June of 2012. It's the sports section. Oh, this is the guy who actually owned the thing. By the way, remember Stephen told me it belonged to a pastor? It didn't belong to a pastor. It belonged to a guy whose last name was Pastor. So that's not quite right. What is this? Oh, wow. Look at this. We can go to concerts with Manhattan Transfer, George Thorogood and the Destroyers, Loverboy, Dawkins, Whitney Houston, Oak Ridge Boys, George Strait. This has got to be from about 1989, right? It's gotta be. It doesn't say. Miller Music played the American way. Genesis. Wow. REM, UB40, Elvis Costello. All of a sudden I feel bonded to the Oldsmobile. Wow, okay, that was worth it. The rest of this stuff is junk, except for the owner's manual. And maybe the flashlight. Does this work? Needs batteries. I'm gonna let Mason have this. Mason! That was amazing. Mason jumped right in and handled all the disgusting parts of the interior, and I didn't even have to ask. That's why he gets 125 bucks an hour. I'm done procrastinating, and I'm ready to try and make this angry 330 cubic inches of thunder roar to life. I really don't want to. I've sort of mentally checked out on this car. I'm wanting to turn it into a recovery of expenses of driving up to Sacramento, which was shockingly pricey thanks to California gas at $5.43 a gallon. And the distributor's probably wet, and I gave you that speech earlier about how I didn't care, but right now is when I'm going to be irritated with myself for making it wet. What do you bet? Is it wet in there? Stick my finger in the little door. It's wet in the distributor. How did that happen? I think what I'm going to do here is check the oil, make sure it's in park, hot wire the starter, and see if it cranks. That's my plan. And then if it does, we'll pour something flammable in it and see if it'll roar to life. What did I say that I was going to do first? Check the dipstick. Perfectly good. Look at that. If that isn't like new, I don't know what is. Checked oil. Now I'm gonna hot wire it, see if it'll crank. Magic wire appears from off camera. Mason again, 125 an hour. Okay, take ring off because I almost grounded my finger. All right, is there any power in this battery? All right, we've vice gripped the ground cable to the ground terminal. I've disconnected the starter plug, and let's see, I'm gonna make power go to it like this, and we're gonna see if it'll crank. That's not encouraging. Is this motor locked up? I think that has enough power, but I'll hook a jump box to it. I'm thinking this is not encouraging. The story we got is that whoever was living in this car abandoned it on the freeway, and there has to be a reason. That reason may become self-evident here in just a moment. All right, Schumacher jump box goodness. Jump, 12.2 volts. Oh, it's turning. It turned. That has plenty of power in it. It should be cranking fast, but it's not. It's going. That has no compression at all. All right, let me try a different jump pack. I don't know what's up with this. That should be plenty good. All right, let's see if the Mason box makes this happen. Will it crank fast? Yes! All right, let's see if it has spark. The Mason pack is way better than my pack. It makes no sense. Mine must not be charged. Okay, I have the coil jumped directly to power, and I am gonna hot wire the starter again, and I'm gonna watch this to see if I get spark somewhere. This is like a three-handed job. Where am I gonna arc this to? How about there? Lots of spark. This thing is gonna run. It is gonna run. Okay, a little brake clean down the gullet. Oh, that carburetor is locked up solid. Wow. That thing does not want to open. Yes. It almost wants to run. Mason realized it might be the linkage that's freezed up, like under some disgusting carpet or something. So we're gonna pull that off and see if the carb will open. Yes! Mason's good once in a while. It's that 125 bucks an hour. Okay. Ready?
Oh yeah.
Ah, that's burning me now. You want to pour some of the juice?
Yeah.
This is a Vice Grip Garage Derek moment. I learned about true. Whoa! Okay, he did not learn how to use the True Fuel, but dude, did you see that? Yeah. He gushed like a quart down there.
It's gonna fire.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big fire. It's gonna hydraulic a cylinder is what that's gonna do.
Are you gonna try it or not?
No, I'm gonna let it sit for a minute because
I'll let it breathe.
All right, Mason glugged like, I don't know, a shot glass full of True Fuel down there. Maybe 2 shots. It was a double shot. So we're gonna let that run down past the rings for a minute. My actual concern is you pour too much fluid down an engine. When the piston comes up and the valves are closed, you bend a connecting rod. Probably not a big concern, but I'm gonna make him feel guilty about it.
Thanks.
If it bends a rod right now, I'm totally blaming you. I didn't realize it was running. Look at that. It's running. Live. It has live. That's amazing. It's not even really huffing smoke. What this means is that the transmission's probably bad. Okay, I'm going in. Foot on brake. This looks like it's gonna work. Everything clear? Okay, reverse. Wow. Brakes work. All right, it needs fluid in the trans, but it works. That's a major victory. The Olds fires up, runs, idles, takes throttle, and goes into gear and stops. Unheard of. Taking a lot of water. Smells dusty like something that hasn't run in a long time, smoking a little.
Oh my.
There was no water in the oil, but there's definitely also no water in the radiator. You'll notice how carefully I checked everything before firing it up. Checked all the fluids, pre-lubed it, made sure everything was good. None of that. Don't care. I'm here for fun, not perfection. Nothing got hurt. Wow, this is a lot of water. There we go. Good. Look at the water on the intake manifold bubbling where the heat crossover is. That's a weird sound. So that's where, on a factory old V8, the exhaust actually goes under the intake manifold to heat up the carburetor, and that's how hot it gets. And the punchline is, I was able to give the Cutlass to a local high school auto shop. How cool is that? I really hope that it inspires some kids to live the gearhead life. And they're gonna have work to do right away, because even though the Cutlass runs, drives, stops, it's got a blown freeze plug or core plug, and it just dumps water all over the ground. So that's job one. I think it's really cool that Steven was able to save 7 cars from the junkyard and get that one to the high school auto shop, and I was able to get those trucks to another YouTuber, so they're all gonna live on. And the truck and the van, you will see those on a future episode on the David Freiburger channel.